Hello there, Star Wars fans. I'm Mike, and in this week's community video, I share thoughts on where the heck all those Star Wars Rebels spin-offs are, and exactly what spin-offs might still be coming. First, however, I want to say welcome back to Star Wars Speculation. This is where we ask you to use the force within you to make the Star Wars community a better place by sharing your theories and speculation. And you can do that by answering the question of the day at the end of the video. But let's get right into the topic. Dave Filoni is on record stating that it's hard for him to let other writers use his core characters in Star Wars Rebels. And it really shows. We don't really have any significant spin-off novels or comics after Rebels Season 4. So I asked you, the community, what spin-offs we might still get. Kieran Holiday suggested in the comments that I want to see the arcs from Rebels continue in Jon Favreau's television show. And yeah, Kieran, I think we might actually get that. We may actually see Bo-Katan. We may actually see a civil war brewing on Mandalore and in Mandalorian space. But moving on here, we have the Medieval Man 9, and he says, spin-offs depend on the answer to this question. Are the Inquisitors that would have been appearing in Season 3 still considered canon by Dave Filoni? Or has that idea been abandoned? All the Inquisitors are considered to have died on Malachor, for example. If there are still other Inquisitors out there, then I think we just found out how Filoni plans to reintroduce Barriss sometime in the future. And yeah, Medieval Man 9, I really like this idea. I might be doing a video on this all to itself. Maybe Ahsoka and Barriss Offee at some point get together. The Medieval Man 9 also mentioned how powerful Barriss Offee was. I mean, she was able to stand up to Anakin Skywalker, so it's really somebody that the Emperor would probably want hunted down. Perhaps maybe a little too powerful to become an Inquisitor. But we have another comment here from Space Waffles, and he states, I know we all want the Ahsoka and Sabine show. I would still love to see a show from the inside of the Empire. And yeah, you never know, Jon Favreau's show we might actually see inside the Empire a little bit. Space Waffles, so little is known about that. And really the bit about the Mandalorians is just a rumor so far. But yeah, I think a comic book could really do that justice. The comics are usually a little more out there, as well as just being a little more adult. So maybe we could get to see some of the kick-ass things that Kallus did while he was part of the Empire. Drake also stated in the comments, the first spinoff I want is a comic book series called The Protector of Lothal, where Sabine remains on Lothal to protect the planet for Ezra. The second spin-off comic book series is where Hera and her team help the Rebel Alliance at the Battle of Scarif. And the third is a sequel TV series of Star Wars Rebels involving Sabine, Ahsoka, and Luke Skywalker searching for Ezra. Yeah, well, Drake, I like all of those ideas. I particularly like to see Sabine on Lothal. I don't think that's going to happen, though, because not unless Filoni actually writes it up, because he's already stated that he doesn't want other people sort of playing with his characters. I know, for example, the Ahsoka novel, a lot of people thought that that wasn't all that well done by the author. Personally, I thought it was good enough, and I'm happy that we got another story about Ahsoka that sort of bridges her from the Clone Wars to Rebels. But I know there's a lot of people out there that really dislike the Ahsoka in that novel, and how she was represented, I should say. In Hera at the Battle of Scarif, yeah, that would be really interesting. I tend to think that it's Hera, Kallus, Rex, they're on the Ghost, and you know, at some point they get damaged enough that they jump to hyperspace and leave. It would have to be like a one-off comic. It's definitely not enough to just fill in 5. I suppose you could do the events surrounding sort of like before the Battle of Scarif and after from their perspective. That would be really cool. But again, I don't think Dave Filoni is going to give anybody the license to play with his characters. Not at least right now. Moving on here to Jet Blast 190. He says in the comments, I think there are 3 great potential Rebel spin-offs. 1, Ahsoka and Sabine's search for Ezra. 2, Thrawn and Ezra post-Battle of Lothal struggles. And 3, Jason Syndulla's coming-of-age story. Ideally, a spin-off series would include and connect all 3 storylines. Yeah, and that would be really cool, Rich. I know that a lot of people complain that like a search for Ezra would not take several seasons of a show. And I've said to them in response that, well, it could be just 12 episodes similar to Clone Wars Season 7, you know, done up on the Disney streaming service. But if we include all 3 of these stories, Jason Syndulla's coming-of-age story, Thrawn and Ezra and their struggle. I think we have at least 2 or 3 seasons. Of course, the big question that comes with all this is Ezra and Ahsoka still around at the time that Luke Skywalker is the quote-unquote last Jedi? I mean, that's a really interesting question that we need answered. Is Luke just the last Jedi in this galaxy? Or is it just that Ahsoka and Ezra aren't Jedi at all? I think I just answered my own question. But that's it for this week's community video. Thank you to everybody who contributed. And please think about commenting on the question of the day at the end of the video to be included in next week's community video. And remember to use the force within you to make the Star Wars community a better place by sharing your theories and speculation. And today's question of the day is, if Jason Syndulla is going to be introduced to Star Wars Resistance, how do you think that's going to happen? Let me know in the comments below, and may the force be with you.